Adrock, how's that party?
It got weird, dude. Weird in a good way.
What does that mean?
You should watch First to Third because of your commitment to excellence.
Drunken debauchery.
Athletic achievement.
PBR.
Competition.
Women.
Money.
Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. He doesn't need his name up in lights, he just wants to be heard, whether it's the beat of the mic. He feels so unlike everybody else.
Gentlemen, what's happening? Long time no see. How's
Nothing
things?
much, man.
How's the off-season treating you, Adrock?
Well, I'm getting back in shape here.
Yeah, hamstring's feeling better?
Hamstring is back in order. My age is not, so I'm trying to combat that slowly.
Get in the gym, son.
I know. I got to get in the gym. I'm battling a head cold, but it's not going to stop me that long. But
Your head ain't good for nothing anyway.
I know. But getting back in the practice field hopefully next week.
Good.
Admin, how about you, man? What's new?
I'm recovering as well. I had minor surgery on my foot. Had an issue I had to take care of, but I'm back trying to train. Signed up for a half marathon in March, so need to get my ass in shape.
Right. That's pretty good.
And then things are busy with the company. Later in the show, we've got a couple announcements I want to make regarding the circuit and the circuit schedule. Also, just to share just a couple brief updates of what's going on around the circuit itself. But no, things have been good. I've changed my location. We've got the cup. Since Michaela's not here, we figured we'd have her on camera, but we got a cup instead. And then I've got a Christmas tree behind me to get in the spirit. And
It's very festive.
And I've got some. We might see some photos later from some of the teams behind me.
But you should also have a menorah for our Jewish viewers. And a
Should
what kind of thing does Kwanzaa use? Do they have like a Kwanzaa cup or something like that?
We'll keep it with just
Like
the.
40.
You're a racist motherfucker, ain't you?
So changing topics.
Okay. Let's talk about off-season moves. Like, what are people doing to get ready for SFKO?
I got a new game we need to play
Right.
in South Florida for everybody who's coming down for the kickoff event of the year for the circuit.
All
It's
right.
called Rock Paper Chug.
Rock, paper, chug.
Yeah, best out of 3. Loser has to chug. That's it.
That's got a nice
Next.
ring to it. All right, so off-season roster moves. Let's start in South Florida. I think the headline of this topic is JKI Deep.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting merger between perennial contenders Just Kicking It and Balls Deeper. Sounds like a brutal team forming. What do you guys think? Adrock, I know you know a lot of these guys from Florida. Any opinions on this situation?
Well, Josh Martin's sick. He's known by everyone. I think the dark horse that no one's really talking about, besides some Florida guys, is McCain.
Okay.
McCain, you've probably seen him in the videos. He's got like curly, fluffy hair, fast as hell. Probably, I think he's close second to Josh Martin, if not equal with his talent. And he's joining the team.
What position these guys play?
You know, I don't really know where McCain played. I know he was in the top 4 kickers on on Balls Deep,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure where he was in the field. I think he actually charged when Josh Martin was pitching. Might be wrong.
Let's
He's
be honest,
athletic
though.
as hell.
Their kicking lineup just got twice as good.
Yeah, and I think, did they say that they got Balls Deep catcher too?
Yeah, I think so. What's his name?
Yeah, I don't remember his name either, but he's good. He's a good player. And with losing Caleb, that's a key spot. They just filled the hole up.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, JKI had a great job last year. they only went to, I think they only went to one event, or they went to two, but they missed out on some points because of when they signed up for the circuit. But they were ranked 19th going into the Cup last year, and they're a much better team than 19th. They proved that in the tournament itself. But it'll be good. It's always good to see teams merge, kind of. I am a component of not really seeing teams merge as long as it's for the better of the sport. In this case, well, let's be honest. Panic Attack is the best of the best. The Meatballs are the best of the best. And you have to, in order to be the best of the best, you got to beat one of those two teams. So your options are recruit a bunch of new talent that you've never seen, or start pulling teams together to merge.
I mean, the nice thing here is I think Balls Deeper is a team that has tremendous talent, but they couldn't get everyone on board to travel. So I think what inevitably happens is that the people who are interested in sort of taking it to the next level and putting the money and effort into traveling gravitate towards other people that want to do the same, and that's where you get these mergers. So I think it's a positive thing, and having another powerhouse team is good for the sport. So we'll see how these guys gel. I mean, it can take time, but we'll see. Definitely expectations being heaped on them.
Yeah. So what else is going on? I hear of a couple other possible mergers.
Well,
go ahead,
I
Ed Rob.
think the biggest news here is Get Off My Kick, team out of Ultra in South Florida, who farm team of Fully Loaded, headed by Hazel Korn, who's their catcher. Apparently they're going solo now and taking Fully Loaded's most of their good players. I don't know if there's any drama down there.
Well, I don't know about most of their good players. I mean, I think Hazel Korn is arguably their best player, and if he is going to be going with Get Off My Kick, that's a huge loss for Fully Loaded.
Yeah.
So
I know.
Interesting.
I think there's some internal drama on that team because there was a player from that team that asked to wear all orange next tournament. I don't know what's going on down there. Maybe we'll have Casey on the show to discuss it if he's up.
Is that going to happen?
I would love to see that happen.
Probably not going to happen.
Oh, all right.
We got too many out-of-towners. But I don't know what happened. Maybe it's the DeMatteis effect. Months after he joins a team, they implode.
He does have somewhat of a track record for bearing witness to the demise of teams. I will say that. There's a surprisingly long list of those teams.
And the Midwest Mushroom Stampers, we've been hearing about them for about a year now.
These guys are from Florida as well?
Yeah. Still in South Florida. Still talking about ultra teams, really.
Yeah. I don't know much about these guys other than the hype that the Florida guys give them on the boards for like the past year, but nothing really to show.
I think they played an SFKO last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
I don't remember how they did.
I don't either. That's the thing.
So are we going to see the return of Riff Raff? They played in Ultra. They never seemed to show up for anything, but then they was it Riff Raff that knocked out Fully Loaded?
Yeah, they're fresh out of rehab and hungry to play again, from what I've heard. But I think they got a lot of the original members. They don't have John, the famous POW. He's actually on the Midwest Mushroom Stampers, I think.
Oh, all right. That's cool.
They don't have
person ever to be banned from the forum.
Yeah. And they don't have Flater, but apparently they got a lot of the old names back, and from talking to a couple of the guys, they have some model chicks on their team, legit models, and I was sent pictures.
Ooh.
And I'm in awe. I'm looking forward to seeing this on the field, is all I'm going to say.
Are we going to see a Riff Raff calendar?
Tropic State
calendar would be great. That should happen.
Anytime you talk about South Florida, you got to talk about the Meatballs.
Champs.
From what I'm hearing, it ain't broke, so don't fix it. Not a lot of moves coming out of the Meatballs camp, or at least they're not talking about it. So still the same.
Same dudes.
Now, do we think all of those teams are going to show up to the South Florida tournament?
I don't know why they wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't know why they would. I think every team that's on here has said they were going.
I would hope so, and we'll drop a little nugget right now. May 19th, Jacksonville, Florida, circuit event in 2012. Be there.
Wow.
All right. You
Get
heard it
excited,
here, May
people.
19th.
May
Good stuff.
19th, confirmed, and I'll drop a couple more dates throughout the podcast. We'll see if you're listening.
Jacksonville, a lot of action. MJD,
Yeah.
37 fantasy points on Sunday.
Hotels on the beach. Get excited, people.
Yeah, yeah. And straight out of the concrete schoolyard, New York City. Oak, what do you got going on the Shower Hammers? Anything new?
I mean, it's going to be, for the most part, the same team you guys saw last year. We added a few new people, a little more
There we
depth.
go. I got you.
Hey, all right.
Love it.
A little more depth at catcher and outfield, and a couple new females. But for the most part, the same team you guys saw last year. So we're looking forward to 2012. How about lock it up, man?
Well,
What's going on in the Orange camp? Are you guys losing Wilson?
Wilson,
What's up with
he's semi-retired. He just decided one day he was going to buy a house in San Francisco, and he emailed the team and he goes, "Guys, I'm leaving in a month."
Is he gone?
He left Sunday. He moved back to California Sunday. He's, I'm going to say, semi-retired because he said he could make a couple of the events. We're trying to pull for him to come to Florida. That's kind of a question mark right now because moving into his new house and all. He'll play with us this year, but he won't be the perennial guy, tall Asian you see at every tournament like he was the past.
I was going to say, for those of you new to the circuit and all these teams and the names we're referencing, Wilson is one of Lock It Up's best kickers. He's been playing the game for a very long time, has traveled to multiple circuit events.
Yeah, so that was a real bummer to find that out. But we'll get him for a couple events this year. We're not sure which. I'm not sure. Big question is what Pole's doing, Matt Pole.
Is he retiring?
I think he's retired for the moment. He had a tough play in the semifinals, the quarterfinals in Vegas, and he came to the sideline and took himself out of the game, and he goes, I'm just not as good as I used to be, bro. Like, he was just down on himself, and he kind of just put himself into retirement. I don't know what he's going to do. I mean, he lives down in Florida, so he lives in Fort Lauderdale, so he's still like a possibility, but last I heard, he said he was back in retirement. So he's out.
It's terrible news.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll be partying whether he's playing or not. You know that guy rolls. But
Yeah.
Barry's going to be back. He missed the past three events. He wasn't in Vegas. He wasn't in D.C. He was in New York, actually, but he missed 2 of the events last year. But he's going to be back in Florida, hopefully playing a bigger role, especially with Wilson out. He's been working hard trying to fill that void. That's about it. That's new. Everyone you've seen at the other events is returning. The whole Vegas roster,
Good.
besides possibly Pole and possibly Wilson, but everyone else is going to be out there.
Right on.
So
you guys, you're not adding anyone from the Sorry for Partying from the New York Star team. You had a couple of. I looked over. It looked like you had a little bit of talent going on over there. For people's faces I didn't recognize.
a couple DC folk, I believe.
Yeah, they actually. I wasn't even there. If you remember, I
wasn't.
I didn't show up the last 8 weeks of the season, so I don't even know what happened there, and I don't think we invite a big group to practice, and if they really get impressive, then they'll kind of get the invite to Florida. But I haven't heard anything so far.
That's cool.
One of Skalaki's buddies that he played baseball with in college moved to New York. Supposedly Skalaki's real hot on him coming to practice, but he's never touched a kickball competitively in his life, so.
Always recruiting.
We'll see what happens with him. Maybe he'll turn out to be a machine.
Good stuff.
So what else is going on? Who else is coming to South Florida? We know of any California teams making moves or any roster moves out west?
Well, I mean, I'm hearing rumblings of a team coming out of the San Francisco area. Some of the old Best Coast ballers putting it together for a road show. Maybe with a tall Asian on the team. I don't know.
I think they might get him. it makes more sense. He lives there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Chow Ming joining the BCB Pink on the Inside crowd, I bet.
So I don't know if the team has a name yet or what they're doing, but hopefully we'll see a team on the road from Northern California. And then, as always, Sofa King is doing their thing. They picked up Tyler Foster of Foster Kids fame. That's a nice ad for them.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
So are they coming to South Florida? Do we know?
I think they're going to try. It's really tough for those guys. Any teams from the West Coast traveling east, the 3-hour difference does make a difference, especially when you can't really get off work to catch an early enough flight. But I know teams are trying. I think if they go to any East Coast events, it'll either be New York, D.C., or South Florida. So it all depends.
Right.
And I should point out that, the circuit, in terms of events across the country, like in 2011, we did 8 total with 7 national tour events and 1 cup. And we only had 2 events out west. That is going to change in 2012. So we might not see them at 3 East Coast events or 1 East Coast event and only 1 West Coast. We might see, 3 on the West, 1 on the East, or who knows. But I think we're definitely going to see them at one of the major big East Coast events next year.
Sweet. That's great.
Los Brew Crew, actually, our boys out of L.A., also making some additions.
So I saw a Facebook update of a dude that Los Brew Crew had added, and he had signed a contract that was written on a bar napkin. Stating his intent to continue playing with Los Brew Crew. So I thought that was pretty funny. But hopefully we'll get those guys out. They're a great team.
Huge, yeah.
Yeah.
What about Arizona? Another hotbed of talent playing in the circuit.
Those guys are usually pretty talkative, man, but I haven't heard anything. Whiskey Richard has been quiet. I don't know. I mean, we heard a lot about straight to the bank around Founders Cup time, but haven't heard much since. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully we'll see him at some events, but
it should be good. California and Arizona have been picking up steam, and there's been a big interest. I know it's not on our notes, but Colorado, Dice Kickball.
I love that guy.
That guy's very aggressive when it comes to Facebook postings. Thanks for watching the show and for going to the boards now.
Hey, you like Dice Kickball.
Like Dice Kickball. He would love you to like Dice Kickball. We'll post a link below. But I keep hearing everyone. I had a phone call today with one of the event managers, and they were telling me how Portland Kickball is huge. If you're watching this and you're from Portland, write us a note, send us a message on Twitter. We keep hearing how great the Portland kickball scene is with Underdog, but we haven't heard from you, so we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
But other areas that are picking up steam, you guys have mentioned Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. A couple of us went up to, and we mentioned it earlier, went up to the little open tournament in Boston, and those guys have a cool kickball scene, man. A lot of people that are really into it. They have a couple of burgeoning competitive teams in Goodwill Bunting and the Angry Penguins. I know those guys are psyched on the scene. We'll probably see both teams in South Florida. So
that would be awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know, but it's good. They really are excited about kickball up there, particularly the competitive aspect.
Yeah, and I've been reading a couple of the guys posting to the boards about any interest in doing an event up there. Obviously, we're watching as well, but if you're in that area and you got some thoughts, go to the boards, post a note or two, and let us know what you think if you're going to travel to Boston for a circuit event or just any event for that matter.
Definitely. Then down in the South, back down in the South,
the dirty
South, our boys Flying V. Are they going to take the step towards the future this year? What's going to happen with them? That's my question.
Will they live up to the promise of Flying V? What's it going to be, V?
The SEC, man. I got to take over.
They own everything else. I think Flying V, I think they've got talent. I think they'll be good next year. I don't know in terms of any additions, but I'm cheering for them. I don't think
we like giving them a hard time because they talked a lot of shit last year. But these guys are going to get better every year. They got the horses. They got love for the game. They come to every tournament. They get better every time. So this is no exception.
And Flying V is Go Kickball and a Waka team. They play in both leagues. And right now I can guarantee you on June 16th Atlanta circuit event. They're going to want you, your teammates, and all your buddies who play on kickball teams to come out and compete against them because they want to defend home turf and win the Atlanta circuit event. That's a guarantee from them.
The Atlanta tournament was very well reviewed last year from the quality of the fields.
Venue, though. The fields are changing. Unfortunately, the city was not as friendly with their field permit situation.
Oh, that's too bad.
But they've got, we are slowly releasing circuit event news and locations, but they've got a phenomenal location up where I think they're the Silverbacks. I can't remember the name of the Atlanta soccer team, but pretty cool stadium right outside the city. So we'll post the registration probably in the next couple weeks. So get excited.
What's about this other team, We Own You, out of Georgia?
I've heard a few chirps here and there about this team, We Own You. They're supposed to be the other competitive team out of Georgia. Did I maybe hear that an appearance in South Florida? So we'll see. But
I'd love to see another Go Kickball Waka team come out of the Atlanta area. There's talent down there. They've been playing for a while. Guys, prove yourselves. Come down to South Florida.
Hey, Admin, why don't you tell us about some other new events that these guys can come to?
Yeah, so we're going to on January 2nd, we're going to release the full schedule of the circuit. We do it every year at the beginning of the year to give you at least 90 days notice before an actual event. So tonight or today, or whenever you're watching this, we're proud to just give you kind of a heads up of events that are coming down the pipe. January, obviously there's no events. In January, you'll see the full schedule. You'll see the new rulebook that'll be released. Prior to the new rulebook being released, we'll post for public opinion on the forum. So right now the Rules Committee is about to start reviewing the final changes. But that's what happens in the month of January. So don't worry, you're not missing any events. February 18th, Fort Lauderdale, the kickoff event of the East Coast of the circuit. March 24th, the kickoff event of the West Coast taking place in Long Beach, California. Registration for those events are already posted. We'll post links below. April 21st, Austin, Texas. Great first year last year as an IKF event. They've converted to a circuit event. So teams from the Texas area, if you want to earn a spot in the Circuit Cup Championship, which is November 11th in New Orleans, go to this Austin event. You'll have a blast. Austin is a great city. If you've never been, once we post the schedule and you're limited on time and your budget and maybe leave from work, definitely check out Austin. It'll be a good time. Plus, it's a lot cooler in April than it is in the middle of the summer when they had the tournament this year.
That was brutal.
We heard a lot of stories. May 5th, New Mexico. That's Cinco de Mayo. You need to be there. And then the last one I'll announce tonight is Jacksonville, like I said earlier, on May 19th. What's to come? We'll just say D.C., the typical D.C., New York City. I already mentioned the Cup, but we've got in Atlanta as well, which we mentioned is June 16th. But we've got a couple more coming, and we'll fill you all in on January 2nd.
Sounds good.
All right. That's awesome.
I just want to take a moment to thank Complete Discovery Source. They're a huge supporter of the circuit and of the national tour. They are the Circuit Cup Championship sponsor. They're a full service provider of electronic discovery services. They have compiled a team from around the world, top-notch project managers, engineers, developers, and consultants to work with you, the clients. If you're interested, by all means, check them out, cdslegal.com. They are committed to helping you through the discovery process. So again, cdslegal.com. Check them out.
Hey, support companies that support kickball.
Definitely.
There you go, buddy.
Definitely.
Well, I think the 900-pound gorilla in the room, really the biggest story of the offseason since Vegas is the Founders Cup roster scandal.
Yeah.
Anyone who follows the Waka blog or the Kickball 365 message board will know.
Right at the bottom here.
It's right there. Is it bottom here?
Yeah, it's at the bottom screen.
So, as we all know, OSC won Founders Cup. They had a hell of a run. They beat Meatballs and then Panic Attack in the finals. It was a tremendous performance. Some accusations have been thrown around lately that their roster for Founders Cup was not assembled according to Waka rules, and that they had a few players on there that didn't qualify through league play, as is required by Waka rules to compete in Founders Cup. So, I mean
we already. This is kind of funny. So I'll be completely honest. I had no idea this was going on, and the December 2nd posting that the company posted, Waka posted on their blog, like, took me for a whirl. But Adrock, didn't we have a conversation like this before Founders Cup on the show? And people were still discussing this like 2 weeks before the event?
Right. We did that. I actually brought it up on the message board that I was approached by a captain from a New York team playing in the Founders Cup, and Oakley, I think you were approached too. We were pretty much every player in New York that means something to kickball was approached about making a super team in Vegas because Waka had bent the rules to allow players that weren't on the league roster play. It was kind of hush-hush, but it was allowed. I opted out. I thought it was a bad idea. A couple of our players opted in. But it could have been a serious situation when a team that people thought was going to be bad and then off walks the bus half of Lock It Up and half of New York Shower Hammers ready to destroy teams.
Oh, gosh. That would be.
It could have been a situation. We brought it up 2 weeks before. I don't know why they opted to go that way, but I wasn't down with it. And here we are seeing it blow up in their face. And
it was 2 months after the fact. I mean, it's not even I'm just dumbfounded by this entire situation that not only the company but the teams, you just kind of question, like, what happened?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd like to know, did OSC really cheat, or are the haters just going to hate on them because they won?
Reading the blog post, Waka, they did the right thing. They even say it in their post that they take the allegations very seriously. The fact that they posted this, I did, give them props to just address this because, I mean, our forum is, we like to consider our forum the voice of the more dedicated players in the country. And if you've never heard of us, or you've been playing kickball for a while and you're just starting to kind of realize that this is bigger than just your local city neighborhood league, and there's other folks out there willing to talk about kickball 24/7, 365 days of the year. Like, the fact that they posted this and collected thoughts from various message boards, Facebook's postings, that shows a lot. But there's a lot of inconsistencies from what is being claimed about OSC being what we talked about.
I mean, I'm inclined to give OSC the benefit of the doubt. I mean, they did win, and I'm inclined to think they were aware of the rules and did their best to operate within them. But, I mean, what I would guess is that the rules are just not that clearly defined. And also, having been to a couple of Founders Cup and captained a couple of Founders Cup teams, I know that the league qualification rules put you in an awkward position a lot of the time.
Yeah.
A lot of time your team plays with, in more than one league. Some players can play in one league, some players can't play in the other. I know that because of the Founders Cup roster regulations, we've had to leave people behind. And they even changed some of their rules because they saw how, I could play in the springtime, but summertime right.
I'm overseas, or I'm doing what for my company or for whatever. Life gets in the way sometimes, and they adjusted their rules. But I don't know. Adrock, what do you think?
Well, the question here, I think, would be how do you build a verification system from the ground up? Some pointers that I would take would be, I think, the only way a player could be eligible to play for a team is if they haven't played for a team haven't played for another Waka team that year. I think that would be another.
Well, that wouldn't work because, a lot of times you play for like a fun team in like a throwaway league. You know what I mean? We do that all the time. Like Sorry for Partying is a great example. Like I'm on the Sorry for Partying roster. Like,
yeah, that's true. Well, maybe
at its core, this is a social game that some of us take very seriously and competitive, but that's not Waka's deal. Waka's deal is the social element of kickball, and they've built an empire around that, and they've done very well with it. But when you offer something with a $10,000 prize, you got to have a better verification system in place.
I just think you can't conflate the league play, especially the way Waka conceptualizes it, and serious tournament play for money. I think the two are it's two different sports, two different animals, and I don't think you can try to apply people's rosters to tournament play. I think you need to have a tournament roster. You need to have a specific competitive roster that's defined, for these tournaments. And it shouldn't have anything to do with league play. I don't think your roster, your tournament roster, should have anything to do with league play. I think you should be able to define a tournament roster that's exclusive to one team, that players that can't play in money tournaments on other teams, and that has to be finalized by a certain time period.
But what about this?
You could do flat rate registration. Like, say you pay whatever $500 to lock it up into a league, and then you just sign up players and you divide the 500 by how many players you have. Might be another angle to take for them, because then you could have like kind of a rotating door of players, like men's softball does a lot.
I mean, I guess we got to think about what is the purpose. Is the idea so that people will sign up for the leagues so that they can play in Founders Cup, and then they'll pay their $85 or whatever? I mean, is that the idea? Is it a?
Well, I think from their point of view, they would just want more players to play in more leagues, and then they want to reward. I mean, this tradition of the Founders Cup is now going on. This is the 13th year, going on 14th, and prior to that, there was the President's Cup or President's Trophy. I mean, they want players to play in the leagues, right?
I just think the reason why this whole issue came about is because teams couldn't fill rosters to come out to Vegas, and I don't blame them. I mean, it's a big expense, and to convince your average kickball player to spend $1,000 to play kickball is a little crazy.
Yeah, but those teams know what they're signing up for.
I know. That's what I mean. Like, it needs to be defined.
I mean, I don't know what the solution is either. My suggestion would be to just keep the Founders Cup roster separate from anything having to do with league play. Like, why make that? Like, why not define the roster? It has to be set before a certain time, and it is what it is. And if you're going to charge people, if you want people to pay money in order to be on the Founders Cup roster, then charge them money. And if you play in a league, then maybe your fee gets waived for joining the Founders Cup roster. If you don't play in a league, you gotta pay some money.
Yeah. When you sign up, it checks, have you played on this team before, or have you at least played with this captain before, or something.
Right, but if you need to set it up so that people can add players who haven't played in a league in order to fill out their team, like as obviously is the case, why make it confusing? Like, why not just have each team define a Founders Cup roster?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether they played in a league or not. And if they haven't played in the league, then they can just pay their money. But just be transparent and make sure everybody knows the deal, and it's simple, and just do it that way.
Now, I don't know if any of this matters.
Good point.
But I think you beat who's on the field and just shut your mouth the rest of the way. I mean, like, I know a bunch of my friends play in a men's league hockey. They've traveled to Vegas, they've traveled up to Minnesota for tournaments, and all you do is write down who's on your team. You don't have to qualify. You write down your roster.
Show up and you compete.
Well, that's how I feel. I don't care who's on whoever's roster. It doesn't matter to me. I've said this from the beginning. Like, I'm not really in favor of restrictive roster rules. I just say make it as easy for captains and teams as possible. I've gone on record as saying that. But what's important is that everyone knows the deal.
Yeah.
And that everyone is playing by the same rules. Because I know teams that I've captained have gotten screwed by the Waka roster restrictions. And it doesn't matter, who is on the other teams. I'm worried about who's on my team. And if I can't bring certain players because of roster restrictions, but other teams are able to figure out a way to circumvent that, that's what's not fair.
So I guess case in point, should they even be limiting the rosters at all?
No.
Is an open system really the best way that Walker could go about doing this for Founders Cup.
Yes.
I think there's arguments on both sides. I don't know. I think it's a very interesting news topic. It is the off season. We should highlight that. This is a little more juicy than most off seasons, though.
It goes back to the NBA lockout situation because big markets will get the players. Yeah. So if like only one Florida team goes and they stack that team with all the talent down there, how's this little team in Tucson, Arizona, even if they pack their best players, they're going to get smoked?
I just don't think that's true, first of all, because, I don't think you can just take a bunch of the best players, squish them all on one team, send them off, and they're going to beat a team that's worked together for years, like the Meatballs or Panic Attack.
So I guess in short, on the Kickball Today blog, again, we'll post a URL so you can see the thing. It looks like one person has commented, but Waka, quote, during their review, they were able to identify some inconsistencies between Waka's staff, so it seems like they identified the problem. As a result, they're going to reintroduce stricter controls within their own systems and a new training policy. So in Waka, they have CSRs or customer service reps. It looks like they'll focus on just getting a couple more training programs all put together and good to go. Again, if you're curious and you want to follow the thread on 365, we'll post a link. If you want to follow the thread on Waka's blog, it was from December 2nd. We'll post a link as well.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Hopefully this will not be a topic for us to give you an update on by the next episode, but again, it is the off season.
Slow news day.
It's very slow. Again, Michaela wasn't here, so we're sad she couldn't join us. But guys, it's the off season. The boards are kind of happening. They're busy. I would hope most folks are enjoying this time in December when most of the country is getting colder weather and kickball's slowing down. Maybe you're working out, training for Florida through other means, dodgeball, indoor kickball, whatever. There's a lot of opportunities out there in terms of social sports. So I don't know, get out and do something.
Agreed.
Amen.
Well, I think that concludes the show.
Yeah, dude, we're running long.
Good to catch you.
Yeah, guys.
I hope you guys enjoyed my J. Crew logo in the background right now. Apparently.
Oh, crap. I didn't see that. Are we having another show before Christmas or what?
We can if you want. We'll see what the audience says. Audience, what do you think? Yes, no? Give us some topics.
Yeah, like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Get on the horn and say something.
Make it happen. Hold on, I got to check something.
What the hell is he doing?
I don't know.
Do it.
Frank